Hello everybody and welcome to the latest Epic Universe construction update. If you're unaware, Epic Universe is a brand new theme park coming to Universal Studios Florida and is currently set to open in 2025. The progress that is being made in the construction of this new theme park is nothing short of breakneck speed though. At the pace they're going, I'm rather hopeful the park may open earlier than anticipated or that there will be some sort of soft opening perhaps in 2024. But time will tell and we can stay hopeful. Epic Universe is located just 2 miles south of Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure in Orlando, Florida. This new park will include brand new lands themed to How to Train Your Dragon, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Universal Monsters, and my personal favorite, Super Nintendo World. So let's jump right into today's update, shall we? To start, we're heading over to the Dark Universe land that is going to be based on the classic Universal monsters. There isn't a lot of progress construction-wise that we can see compared to just a few weeks ago, but this land is really starting to come more into focus. So even though there hasn't been an official announcement that this land is actually based on Universal monsters, there have been some new trademarks that have been filed for retail locations and attractions that all but confirms this land is going to be Universal Monsters themed. One of the new trademarks is for Pretorius's Scientific Oddities, which is marked as being used as a retail store. So if you're a fan of Universal Monsters, you might recognize that name, as Dr. Pretorius is a popular character from The Bride of Frankenstein. There's another recent trademark for the Manor Storehouse, which is probably what another permit was for that was marked as a retail location for the exit of one of the main attractions in this land, which is probably the large haunted mansion-like attraction that is going into this land that is a gothic manor. Yet another trademark that we have is for an attraction which is likely to be the main attraction of this land, and that trademark is called Monsters Unchained: The Frankenstein Experiment. We have talked about this attraction before, as it is an indoor attraction that is a KUKA arm-based ride like you can see in this video, and you can also take a look over at Universal Studios in the Harry Potter land with the Forbidden Journey ride, as it is the same system that they use on that ride. It is likely that this ride will feature most of the Universal monsters in it, so if you're a fan of classic monsters, you'll probably be pretty excited for this one. There's also been some progress on the Curse of the Werewolf coaster, as it is believed in this barn is a swing launch that will be the launch point of this ride. There's also more landscaping around this ride, and again, I just want to stress we are supposedly 2 years away from this park opening, and there are multiple areas of this park that are already seeing heavy landscaping installed. There is some more progress on the main dining location in this land that is expected to be named Burning Blade Tavern. Now we expect this because there were some trademarks had the name Burning Blade Tavern. So nothing has been officially announced for this restaurant, but we can see a windmill that is currently being constructed, and it doesn't take too much of a leap to guess that this is the restaurant that they are referring to in that trademark. All right, next up, we're heading over to my favorite theme park land being built, Super Nintendo World. As you can see in this latest picture, the exterior walls that surround the land are really coming along as they are being painted and getting closer to completion. Inside, we can see Princess Peach's castle starting to really take shape as well. And if you're new to this land and how it will work, you can see in this photo a little bit here, you will come through a warp pipe, go up an escalator that takes you into Peach's castle, and you walk out of the castle into the land. Now, something interesting that is now part of Peach's castle is the area beneath the castle. There were rumors that for Epic Universe there would be either a play area or a character meet and greet location underneath the castle. In this latest shot showing some walls in this area, I'm starting to wonder if this does end up coming to Epic Universe's version, as this land is going to be the largest one, so it would have the room for it theoretically. We are also able to see Bowser's Fortress, the Mario Kart attraction, and Mount Beanpole are all really taking shape and look just about ready for exterior theming to start. Yoshi's Adventure is essentially covered in scaffolding as it's further along in its exterior work compared to the other attractions. All right, let's take a peek at the other side of Super Nintendo World over at the Donkey Kong area to see how things are shaping up over there. We can see a round section of pavement is now visible and will become what we believe to be a food kiosk. The other circular foundation that has been there for a bit is expected to be a meet and greet location, as we can see according to this model here. We can see there is still testing that is going on for the track. Now, it's hard to tell in this picture, but I think if I were to guess, this may be a real ride vehicle as it has a cover on it and it looks a little bit different than the other test vehicles that we have seen on the tracks in the previous weeks. If you're unfamiliar with how the Donkey Kong coaster will work, it actually is running on a side track and will simulate jumping gaps in the fake track on top of it. This is to simulate the minecart ride from the Donkey Kong games if you're familiar with that. And if you're not, you should play it because it's a great game and will get you ready for this ride. But I do digress. In this picture, we also have what looks like samples of theming for Super Nintendo World setting out. They are more than likely samples that are testing how those elements will hold up in the brutal Florida sun. Now, heading over to the Wizarding World, there isn't a whole lot we can see in the way of visual progress since the last time we took a look over here, other than the portal to the land is getting closer to being completed, and the likely statue that will be the, quote, beacon of this land is looking to getting installed soon. The rumor for this is that it will be a giant hand holding a wand, but time will tell, but it looks like the podium is built for it, so we could see that going up anytime now. All right, let's take a quick flight over to How to Train Your Dragon Land. And if you remember from our last video where we saw the blue and red dragon counterweights were installed on the Skyfly ride, and it looks like there hasn't been much else done on this ride since the last time we took a look. We do know that there will be some grandstands where people can watch the dragon races, which should be going in near the roller coaster tracks close to this ride. There is a smaller structure as well that we can see in this photo that will be a food stand. We can see from the permits that there will be a order window and kitchen, which match completely on the photo we're looking at right now. There's also a lot of pavement being laid for the walking paths in this land, as well as work on the bridges that are in this land. Now, the fact that we are seeing concrete being laid for walkways in this park already is again a great sign, and hopefully we'll begin to see more walkways being paved in the coming weeks and months all over Epic Universe. The coaster loading and unloading building of the main attraction in this land has gotten a lot more roofing progress made, and we are seeing landscaping being planted in this area as well. On the first launch of the coaster, we can see the building in which guests will go into is getting a roof and more structure built to it. We also have what appears to potentially be test vehicles on the track as they are covered, so it's hard to tell if that's what they are, but very well could be. Now, this is a ride that I'm personally very excited for, as it's probably best described as a tamer, more family-friendly version of Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure. Now, Hagrid's is my favorite ride, so I'm happy to see they're doing more with its unique roller coaster and storytelling concept. Now, there will be a separate video going over everything coming to the How to Train Your Dragon Land, where we will talk more about this ride in depth, so be on the lookout for that video coming out very soon. There's also going to be a kids play area over here by the roller coaster, which if I were to guess, we won't see much progress on until later, as they can build a play area rather quickly compared to a complicated roller coaster. So my guess is they probably save that closer toward the end of the construction of everything. Now in this angle, we are able to see a food stand that is going to be in this area as well, so parents can get some food and drinks while their kids play here. The main dining location in this land is going to be named Mead Hall, according to the latest permit. We can see exterior work is about to start, where we can expect some rock work and a nature-like appearance to this restaurant. On one of the newly paved walkways, there is what looks like a Viking ship-styled structure being built surrounding the walkways. So it looks like you may walk through a Viking ship potentially when entering this area. Time will tell, of course. All right, now it's time to head over and look at the center of the park, which is going to be called Celestial Park. This is the area of the park that is going to contain the dueling roller coaster called Starfall Racers, Constellation Carousel, the large fountain, restaurants, and more. Now over at Starfall Racers, we can see landscape work is continuing to be done, and the roof of the loading and unloading station is getting ever closer to being completed. You'll know from our earlier videos that all the track for all the coasters in Epic Universe have been laid, so work on these rides is down to the launch stations, loading and unloading areas, and support buildings and landscaping. The waterside restaurant here is covered in scrim, so we can't see any progress on the inside, but we can see there is work being done on the water feature and what looks like a winding walkway in this area. Now, I'm excited to see how this restaurant is going to look once completed, as guests will be seated below at the water level and likely treated to amazing views while enjoying their meals. Now, over at Constellation Carousel, we can see that there is work on the water feature nearby with what seems like a semicircle wall feature being built, as well as a chain of fountain jets in a pond. And in this aerial shot, we can see the carousel fountain and the rumored barbecue restaurant going in this area. We can also see a smaller circular structure with a bronze-looking roof, which is rumored to be the park's Starbucks location. And looking at the entrance of the park, this is really starting to come together the last few weeks. Now, this is a great look at the entrance where at 1, we have forms for archways in the signature gateway. And at 2, this is a gateway section with the archways. And 3 is the likely VIP room in the upper level. And at 4 is the first of a chain of water features. And 5 is the security and admissions building. And in this look at the ticket sales and admissions area, we can see that the ticket sales will be to the right and flow in a nice way to the admissions area to the left. At the entrance of the building, there seems to be a decorative roof on the ground that will soon go on top. And we are starting to see a lot of the quote celestial theming that this park will begin to show. Another look at the signature gateway into Epic Universe, we can see forms at the left will soon catch archways just like the ones we see at the right. The faint yellow line in this image is meant to represent an oval courtyard between the gateway and park admission that we were able to see in the concept art that was released for Epic Universe here. And for those wondering about restrooms, well, in this shot of this smaller building, at the top is believed to be restrooms near the park entrance. And our final section of our construction tour will take place at the 3 hotels being built. There has been more progress made on the color changing tiles being placed on the 2 outside hotels. We are getting a good idea of the mosaic look that this hotel will indeed have. The tiles themselves don't seem that they will change color, but will react to light. And we can see wiring sprinkled all throughout the tiles, which is rumored to be for a special lighting effect on the building and perhaps adding a twinkle to the buildings at night even. Here is the current construction progress on the pools for these new hotels that are south of Epic Universe. In this other view of the pool area of one of the hotels, we can see there is quite a bit of progress made since the last time. There is framing for what is likely windows from the lobby area, and we can get a good glimpse of how these reflective tiles will react to the sun. At the in-park hotel, we are starting to see more vertical progress made, as it looks as though there is work being done on the 5th floor now. We can see lots of concrete work happening as the work in this area seems to be really ramping up, as this hotel was probably the part of the park with the least amount of progress being made on it until recently. Now here's a good look at the in-park hotel and how it will fit into the park. So at 1 is the portal to the Wizarding World, at 2 is the Constellation Carousel, 3 is the portal to Universal Monsters, and 4 is the Curse of the Werewolf roller coaster. And in the foreground, we can see the parking garage for the hotel that looks likely to already be completed. At another angle, we can see at 1, this is going to be a cascading water feature in front of a park restaurant. At 2 is a recently cast concrete, and at 3 is the portal to Dark Universe. All right, that is going to do it for this Epic Universe construction update. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel before you leave. We will be doing more Epic Universe updates and land previews as construction continues. And here at Capture the Magic, we also have vlogs to bring you some first-hand views from the parks, and over on the CTM Podcast YouTube channel, we discuss all things theme parks in much greater detail. So are you getting as excited for Epic Universe as we are? Let us know in the comments. And until next time, we will see you in the parks.